Welcome to the Working Fans Podcast, episode 271, where, Dave, we have a big weekend of watch-alongs. We are watching Halloween Havoc. We are watching Bound for Glory. We are comparing Eddie Guerrero and Kurt Angle. But what we are not comparing is Game Up Hard Hydration. There is no comparison. It's like your favorite sports drink, your favorite seltzer. Got together, but it is so much better. Dave, tell them why they're the best.
Oh, because you got fruit punch, lemon lime, grape, and it's only 110 calories, low carb, so you can enjoy all that great flavor and not feel guilty about it. Kind of like us.
And what we are going to be watching, it's going to be the second of our watch-alongs, but we are presenting it first because I think I'm most excited for Halloween Havoc. Last week, we talked about Spin the Wheel, Make the Deal, or I believe it's releasing this week. I can't remember my timelines, but what I am ready for is NXT.
I think they've been doing a real good job of building up these shows and, especially the women talent, where we are really starting to see all these different women come in, like Julia and Stephanie Vaquer. And then, she was Delta. I think her name's going to be Zaire now, or Zyra.
Yeah, always excited for a women's division that's expanding too.
She's from Australia, the Australian women's wrestling scene, and there's been a lot of hype around her. So yet another top woman wrestler to go with Julia and Stephanie Vaquer from Japan, Australia, Mexico. NXT has got a real international flavor going to it right now.
Yes, it does. Now let's give the people some predictions and preview this card real quick.
All right, I will start us off. The first match I got here is Kalani Jordan versus Fallon Henley, JC Jane, or Jasmine Nix. And this is a spin the wheel, make the deal, spinner's choice match to be determined for the NXT Women's North American Championship. So we don't know what the spinner's choice was yet. This would have been one of Toxic Attraction, though. So we don't know that, but it's basically all of Toxic Attraction in this match with Kalani Jordan.
This is a classic situation where I don't think, the babyface is losing. The odds are stacked against her, but I'm going to say the heels start infighting with each other, and Kalani Jordan finds a way to get the win.
100%. The big story of this match going in really seems to be Kalani Jordan not knowing who she's going to face from this faction. And I don't think you're going to take the first Women's North American Championship and put it on somebody who the audience might not know. This is not a bad group, but I could see this going on an incoming wrestler like Delta or Vaquer or Julia, whoever doesn't go for that main women's championship. I don't think it's going to be Toxic Attraction or Fatal Attraction. I got Kalani Jordan.
Then we have a singles match between Ridge Holland and Andre Chase.
This feud's been going on for a little while, obviously. Former tag team partners here. Ridge has been getting the better of him for a while, but I feel like this is going to be Andre Chase's comeuppance. He's going to get his moment here. And I think maybe we'll see the return of some other Chase U members to help him. Or maybe, actually, you know what? Maybe the opposite. Maybe we're going to be surprised and some other Chase U members are going to turn on Andre and they help Ridge Holland get the win. In fact, that's my pick. I'm going to go Ridge Holland.
Oh, wow. I was going to go Andre Chase because that response he got the other day with the return was so big that I just see this being kind of the comeuppance and the kind of the blowing off of that feud.
You might be right. We'll see. I talked myself out of it, so we'll agree to be different on this one. Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade versus Julia and Stephanie Vaquer. I'm going to go with Julia and Stephanie Vaquer. I don't know how this is going to play out. I feel like maybe Stephanie Vaquer will get the pin on Roxanne, and that'll lead to a match between those two.
Yeah, I mean, I want to go with Cora Jade after that big return, but Vaquer and Julia are just too big right now, and I feel like they got to get the win.
Tony D'Angelo defends the NXT North American Championship against Obafemi in a rematch, and this is going to be tables, ladders, and scares match. So I don't know what the scares part is going to be, but nonetheless, so you're basically type TLC type match. I got a feeling that this is Tony D'Angelo will find a way to win. They just put this championship on him. I don't know if they got to climb the ladder to get the win. My guess is they will, because that's a creative way of Tony D'Angelo winning this without having to pin Obafemi. And my guess is they want to keep Obafemi strong because he's going to be going up to the main roster soon.
Yeah, I don't see bouncing it back to Obafemi once again. I see Tony D'Angelo pulling it off and Obafemi going to the main roster right after this.
Yes, and now I'm looking here. The main event is Trick Williams versus Ethan Page for the NXT World title. It's a Devil's Playground match. And when I look up that, it says that's a standard hardcore match. So basically a hardcore match. I'll go with Trick Williams. I don't think same thing with Tony D'Angelo. I don't think Trick is getting this title just to drop it again.
Definitely. I think this is going to be a big match. I could see this being one like Abyss would have some kind of input into. I don't know if he works with NXT Creative, but I'm very much excited for this match. I feel like it's going to put the stamp on Trick Williams in NXT and make him that champion.
I agree. So
That's all we have listed for
card.
Halloween Havoc, huh?
Halloween Havoc. What's the start time on that? Do you know?
7 o'clock, I believe.
TNA Bound for Glory. They do have a pre-show match. I don't think we're going to make a prediction on this because it's a call your shot gauntlet 20-man battle royal. We don't have the participants, so I don't see how we're going to do that. So the first match I'm going to call here will be Josh Alexander versus Steve Macklin. This should be fun, but I got to go Josh Alexander. He's the bigger star for the company right now.
100%. This is going to be a good hard-hitting match. This has potential steal your show type ability because both these guys are great in the ring. But Josh Alexander 100% is coming out on top.
I didn't know this was on the show. This is a match that I'm very excited about. I'm pretty sure I know who's going to win, but wow. TNA X Division match, Iodo Vikingo versus Speedball Mike Bailey. I'm going to go with Speedball here, but this should be awesome.
I didn't know that was on the card. So I'm going to take my steal the show match and say that again about this one, but this time I really mean it. Like, I like the Alexander Macklin match, but Vikingo and Mike Bailey, it's going to be high energy. It's going to be high flying, but Mike Bailey's got to come out on top.
Oh, look at this one. Jody Threat and Danny Luna Spitfire defend the TNA Knockouts tag titles against Rosemary and NXT's Wendy Chu. What an interesting combination that is. I'm going to go with Threat and Luna, but man, I kind of like the idea of Rosemary and Chu having an NXT talent wear TNA gold. I think that'd be pretty cool.
When you were talking about that last match, I almost thought you were describing this one because I knew about this. And I see Rosemary and Wendy Chu pulling off the victory and making it something really noteworthy coming out of this event.
All right, I'm going to go for an upset in our next match here. Masha Slamovich and Jordan Grace, TNA Knockouts title. I say Masha is going to take the gold here. I have this feeling Jordan Grace is going to be going to WWE soon.
I want to say that it's Jordan Grace because she's been such a great Knockouts champion. And I want to be different because I don't want to just say, what you said, but I'm going to say what you said. I like Masha winning this, and I think, Jordan Grace moves on and goes to bigger and better things.
Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards with Alicia Edwards versus the Hardys. Matt and Jeff Hardy versus ABC, Ace Austin, and Crystal Bay. So this is a 3-way full Metal Mayhem match for the TNA tag title. Wow. I have no idea what they'll do here. I'm just going to say I'll pick something fun. I'll say the Hardys capture the tag titles here. But they're the veterans. They're probably least likely to do this, but I'm going to go with them anyway.
If I were thinking really wrestling-wise, I'd say ABC would take those titles. They're an exciting young tag team. But from what I've watched of TNA, the system is like a big faction in there. And I think they're going to leave champions and further kind of as that center point of TNA right now.
Singles match, Mike Santana and Moose. I'll go with Moose.
This is a big match. Santana's really made it a point since coming back to TNA to really establish himself as a singles star. I'm going to say he gets the upset and he beats Moose in this match.
All right. I like it. PCO versus Matt Cardona. Monsters Ball match for the Digital Media Championship. PCO is the digital champion. I'm going to say Cardona finds a way to get the victory here. Monsters Balls.
I think this is going to be quite the match. But PCO is going to get that win and retain that championship. And he's going to say, kiss these balls in the end.
Kiss these monsters balls, baby. We got Nick Nemeth defending the TNA championship against Joe Hendry. I say this is Joe Henry's moment. He's walking out with the TNA championship. And I think we're going to see him back in NXT still at some point. Maybe a Joe Henry, maybe a TNA versus NXT champ. I don't know. I think something big's in store for Joe Henry. That's why I see him getting a win here.
This is such a tough one to call because Nemeth, such a great TNA champion, but
Yes.
you can't deny the response that Joe Hendry has gotten. And just think about how noteworthy it would be for Hendry to get the win here and then to show up on NXT TV with that championship. You could very possibly do some kind of champion versus champion match. But in my heart, I think Nemeth gets the win. And much like Jordan Grace, Joe Hendry is going to make his exit from TNA fairly soon.
See what happens. That's it for our big watch alongs this weekend.
We got one more section for you. But first, I want to play this quick commercial from the newest wrestling book coming out. Author Ray Lopez presents Lockup, Professional Wrestling in Our World. Lockup dives headfirst into the colorful world of professional wrestling. Explore the iconic characters, careers, matches, history, and families, and delve into the bizarre and fascinating entwining of professional wrestling and film, television, football, politics, gender, and race. Pre-orders are available now on Amazon.com or at MascotBooks.com. This is the perfect gift for the wrestling fan in your life. Pick up a copy today on Amazon.com or at MascotBooks.com. God, that music gets me so pumped. And talking about pumped, we are talking about two of the best wrestlers, I think, to ever do it in a more modern time, if not ever. You've got Eddie Guerrero, Kurt Angle. Dave, who do you got?
For me, I'm going to go Eddie. Kurt is a machine. You know, if I break him down, like Kurt is obviously the more legitimate wrestler because he's more legitimate than anybody. He's a little stronger and he's got great personality. But to me, there's something when I just think about the art of pro wrestling, just the type of stories Eddie Guerrero can tell in that ring. I don't know. I don't think there's really too many people better. Can have a great match with anybody. Great athlete, great personality. Like when we lost Eddie Guerrero, we really lost a guy who was in his prime, who I think was just obsessed about the business. And we really got robbed in terms of a performer of like what Eddie could have been. They're both great. You could flip a coin. Today, I'm just leaning towards Eddie.
To me, it's such a tough pick because you've got that person who was like in their family genetics. It was like the family business. But then you've got it versus Kurt Angle, who made his name as a Olympian wrestler, got that gold medal, and then comes to the business where it's like almost so against his nature to succeed, you know, staying up off your shoulders, learning to be entertaining. And yet Kurt Angle thrived, and today we look at him as one of the best. It's tough because I want to say I'm flip-flopping back and forth because I want to say Angle, but then I think of all Eddie's accomplishments. And if you want to go, you know, down that route, think about all the setbacks both men have had and were able to, in Kurt's case, he did overcome it. Unfortunately, Eddie wasn't able to, you know, overcome those demons that held him back. But while he was doing it, you know, he was one of the best. He almost seemed unaffected. You know, I'm going to stun myself. I'm going to say Eddie Guerrero.
Wow. Okay. I thought I was going to be the lone wolf with that one. Yeah. I mean, I may have a different opinion on a different day because that's how good these two are. But yeah, maybe I just, you know, it's been a lot longer since I got to see some great Eddie matches. But yeah, Eddie, he's amazing. And you can't go wrong with either pick here. And as always, guys, like I tell you in the shorts, we'll tell you in the videos, let us know in the comments. Who do you think, you know, Guerrero or Angle?
Yeah, 100%. This could be, you know, like if I had watched, you know, the Kurt Angle DVD recently, I might have picked Angle over Eddie. But that was our choice today. Thank you for joining us. Dave, we got a special episode in store for them next week because much like last week's Monday Night Raw, we are going to pre-tape something for you. And are we talking our top 5 Danielson matches coming off of a future Danielson review show we are doing?
Yep. Continuing our love for Bryan Danielson, whose full-time career recently wrapped up. We have a special episode coming for you guys where we review 3 of Bryan's top matches in his career. And then me and Joe on a future episode, we'll talk about our personal top 5 Bryan Danielson matches. And we may even add a few bonus segments in there. There might be another comparison one we might do, maybe featuring Bryan Danielson. Perhaps who's greater, Bryan Danielson or Bret Hart? But we will have some stuff for you. So look forward to that.
I think you just made it there.
We working. I think I did. I know what I'm doing. I'm booking this shit.
And And if you want to talk about one of our favorite wrestlers of all time, it is hard to not talk about one of our favorite drinks of all time, Game Up Hard Hydration. If you haven't tried Game Up, then you are missing out. Imagine your favorite seltzer and your favorite sports drink had a baby, but it's way better than that. Each can is 110 calories, low carb, 4.9 ABV. It's a nice light drink that is not light on flavor. Game Up comes in fruit punch, orange, lemon, lime, and grape. Pick it up at drinkgameup.com or at your nearest liquor store.
Read about the Northern Wrestling Federation in the book presented by Russellville.com, The Pro Wrestling Vault, Volume 2. Hear the story of Roger Ruffin, the man who trained Carl Anderson, the Monster Abyss, Jordan Clearwater, Chris Harris, and Jillian Hall.
Plus 45 other short stories including Jazz, Bobby Eaton, Kamala, Thunder Rosa, Mario Mancini, Scott Casey, PJ Black, Kerry Morton, Sal Renaro, Jeremiah Plunkett, Colby Carino, Bam Bam Malone, and many others.
Get your book today at Russellville.com. Russellville. It's where wrestling lives.